Today we're going to take a very quick look at pyrometers. Now a pyrometer, in this case, in signalling terms, applies to a bimetallic strip contact unit. So in the old traditional paraffin lamp signals, in the signal itself you would have, and this isn't the right lamp unit, but you would have a lamp unit, paraffin lamp unit as such, with its wick and its trimmer on the side, you can up and down the wick, and you would have, once the lamp is in, a pyrometer mounted in the top of the lamp case, like such, so that the heat coming off the lamp itself would go up, heat up this bimetallic strip, which is just there, and then this bimetallic strip would bend. Now, by its very nature of the word, bimetallic means there's two different types of metals in a strip there, laminated together in a sandwich, and when you heat them, they both have different properties, so that one will expand greater than the other. So in effect, it will bend. And of course, when you take the heat off, it will cool down. Because laminated together, they act like a contact. One of the things you can appreciate on these particular units is that you can't have rubber or plastic wires off the side because they will just melt. I mean, most of the lamp cases that we have, the roofs of them don't rust because they're tarred up with the tar that's come off the oils that are used in the lamps over the years. So what you do notice is, in this case, you will notice small china beads that are wrapped around the wire that do the same purpose as an insulator, and they just stop it when the wires touch the side from actually earthing out on the casing, because this is mounted into the lid of the lamp case, and obviously you want to be able to lift the lamp case up to get the lamps in and out. So this is mounted that way up. It has a small shield around contact to keep heat in. I'll explain why that's there in a minute when it comes to the lampman. And there are various different types of these. Signal lamps for each company were different. Invariably they had a small shield on the top so that once you actually picked up the lamp by the handle, you didn't burn your hands. And obviously then once you put the lamp in the signal itself, as you put the handle down, it lifts the lid up. Some for the ground signals traditionally had a round pyrometer that went through a hole in the side of the lamp case itself, so it sat just above the flame of the wick. And the reason for that is obviously there are two different types of flames you can have. You can have a slightly brighter flame for the main semaphore signals, but you can have a dimmer flame for colour lights. For ground signals, the mechanical ground signals. That pyrometer itself, as I mentioned, went through a hole on the side casing, but was also enclosed in a brass tube itself. So it was all one. So you'd have to take it apart to fix it. Whereas traditional signals, as such, have the exposed top there, and the flame would just give off enough heat that it'd get the pyrometer going. Unfortunately, I haven't got one that actually shows it, but there's normally two small silvered lines on the glass, which is your high and low wick levels. This one doesn't have one, unfortunately. But mostly traditional lamps, all the same. One thing to note, some of the signal lamps actually have a corner on the, especially on the Adelaide lamps and later ones, the corner was angled so you could only fit these in the correct way. Especially on some of the ground signal ones, obviously. The ground signal ones with a hole through the side, you can only fit them in one way because you've got to slide the pyrometer through. But on the signal ones itself, they're aligned as well, so the corner would be missing just there. And that's one thing to look out for. Here's our pyrometer, and we've made a little jig just to hold it up. Could have done with one of those lab claw things that we used to use in school. What you have here is you have your bimetallic strip just underneath there, and above it you have a small cowl, and the cowl actually keeps the heat in around it. Then you also have your other contact here. So you have a hot and cold proving contact. So if your bimetallic strip is heated from underneath, this contact here will bend up and make this top contact here. It's reasonably flexible as well, so it has a little bit of give. You have a top stop on it here, and this is a little Bakelite stop underneath it, just to stop it actually bumping onto the top. What you also have is your cold contact On the back there you can also use, it's just underneath there. So you've got hot and cold. Now these two holes here are designed so that this mounts into the lid of the actual lamp case itself. I don't have one unfortunately that you can see, but over the years these tend to be tarred up massively. We'll just set a little jig up here with a small gas torch under it just to show you heating up and making some contacts on the meter. So what we're going to do, we're just going to set up this little gas torch here just to give you an example. Now bear in mind the gas torch has a more superior flame than the actual lamp itself, so it'll heat up quite quicker. And what we're going to watch is for this contact here to just bend up and make this top contact here. We'll get it set up to start with. Get the gas torch on. Some flame. That should start heating up now very quickly, and you should see that rise in that gap there. There you go, you can see it rising, and it's about to make our meter. Make our contact there, there we have it. And again, it's broken the cold proving contact and the hot proving contact is made. As we turn the heat off there, we'll watch now for it to cool down. It takes a while for it to cool down. Bear in mind, the lamp man, if he's changing the lamps, he wants to get these lamps in and out quickly. So in the space of time it takes him to swap the lamps over, hopefully it should not have gone out. That used to be a very old trick. The lamp man to get things done quickly before the lamps buzzed out. And it's just starting to cool down now. So our bimetallic strip is just starting. And we've broken. There we go, we've lost our contact, so it's cooling down now. We can see that going right back onto its cold contact there now. On a standard Adlake lamp case, the terminals for the pyrometer would come out here, and there's a blanking plate on this one. You open it up inside, it's just been sealed off inside there, but that's where those flying lead wires would go to, onto the terminals that would fit on there. On this lamp case, you can just make out, if you look very carefully, you can just see the high and low trimming marks for the flame. So when you set your flame, it should be between those two marks there. Any higher starts to carbon too much, and the lower, and you obviously get other problems as well.